We're going to start the ceremony. We'd appreciate it if you would silence your cell phones. So, I'd like to welcome you to our Veterans Day ceremony. We're truly honored to have you here today. This is our first live Veterans Day ceremony since 2019. My name is Alan Perkal. I'm with the chair of the Buncombe County Veterans Council, one of the sponsors of today's ceremony. Also contributing sponsor is the City of Asheville, and our friend John Philman, a representative for the city, who helps us regarding the Mayor's Committee for Veteran Affairs. And then Josh Blake, who will be filming this, that'll be shown on the YouTube channel, City of Asheville, at 3 o'clock today. And also wanted to thank Charles George VA, especially Craig Holbert and his staff for helping us organize this, put the tents up, etc. We're in a special area here. We have the Vietnam Memorial behind us for those who died in Western North Carolina, and we have the Charles George statue behind us here. So, today's ceremony is about honoring the service of every veteran who has served their country in war and in peacetime. Thank you for your sacrifices to keep our freedom. Please remember, freedom is not free. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, when the guns fell silent, we will always remember. Could you please stand?
Detail! Attention! Cut!
The presentation of colors will be by the Steve Youngdeer American Legion Post 143. The national anthem will be sung by Rick Ledford, United States Marine Corps, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Steve Henderson, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam.
Right shoulder, on! Forward! March! Mark on, mark! Left turn, move! Detail, halt! Freeze it, all!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We will now say the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right shoulder, on! Right, hey! Forward, march! Mark on, march! Detail, halt! Left, hey! Red, on!
Okay, could you please have a seat? And when you hear your service song, could you please stand? Caisson. Thank you. I would like to recognize in our audience today Robin Ramsey, who's the Western Region Representative for Senator Tom Tillis. Robin Ramsey. And also Sandra Kilgore, who's the Vice Mayor of the City of Asheville. I would like to read a letter from Senator Tom Tillis. Dear friends, I am pleased to extend my greetings to all those who have gathered for the Charles George VA Medical Center's Veteran Day ceremony. Today we honor the millions of Americans who have served our great nation and express our appreciation for the dedication to the ideals upon which it was founded. As we reflect on the valor of those brave men and women, we must remember that it's through their sacrifice that America continues to stand as a beacon of freedom throughout the world. Thank you for your incredible devotion and love for our country. May God bless each of you and your families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Sincerely, Tom Tillis, United States Senator. Okay, in terms of an invocation, I'd like to read this, and the author is unknown. Very powerful piece called Among the Rest Who Gave Their Best. As they lower me into my grave, let not a tear be shed. I fought to keep my country free, and now, my Lord, I'm going to see, for just my body's dead. As they fold the flag and fire the shots, let no emotion show. Stand firm and brave beside my grave, and listen as the bugle blows. Weep not for me as you walk away, turn not for one last look. As the haunting strain of taps remain, press a kiss upon your holy book. The men will and women will softly turn the soil as I wing away with God. The diggers will refill the pit till signs of death retract from it and replace the torn sod. As years go by and memories fade, my stone shall stand erect among the rest who gave their best our freedom to protect. Oh, amen. Okay. So, welcome remarks will be by Dave Przestrzelski, Navy veteran, Chief Executive of Charles George VA Medical Center, Asheville, North Carolina. The best VA in the country. We, the veterans of Western North Carolina, are truly blessed to have Charles George VA Medical Center as our health care provider. Dave.
Thank you, Alan. And I've been proud to serve as the Chief Nurse Executive here in Asheville for now 20 years. And it is indeed one of the best in the country. I thank Robin Ramsey for being here, Vice Mayor Kilgore. And I also recognize other members of our leadership team, Joanna Weber, our Acting Associate Director, Craig Holbert, our Acting Assistant Director, and all of you, veterans, families, friends, and employees of this great medical center. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this year's Veterans Day ceremony. It's great to see everybody in person. What a difference a few years make. We haven't been able to have a face-to-face gathering for Veterans Day since 2019. And COVID-19 certainly changed a lot. But what has not changed, while we have been sort of returning to normal, there's still a lot that has not changed. And what isn't different is our commitment. Every member of the staff will tell you that it is our commitment and dedication to serving veterans that has not changed. Make no mistake, we feel privileged and honored to be here. And more so, we're humbled that so many veterans have chosen us to provide their health care. Something else that isn't different, especially on this special day, is that the Western North Carolina VA healthcare system, our neighboring communities, and the rest of the country owes an unpayable debt of gratitude to our veterans. Men and women who answered a calling to be part of something bigger than themselves. Fortunately, not every veteran has had to face combat. Even so, most will tell you that they consider their time in service a defining time in their lives. That's because being in the military tends to bring out the very best in people. It enhances what was already there: honor, duty, and patriotism. There's an unmistakable bond that joins every veteran from every branch of service. Each raised their hand and swore that they stood ready to fight and, if called for, die for our country. Pages always get stuck together. They are ordinary and yet extraordinary human beings who offered more of their life's most vital years in service to their country and sacrificed some of their ambitions so that others would not have to sacrifice theirs. We at the VA consider all who served heroes, and it's our goal to honor them. We pay tribute to their strength, of character and irrefutable loyalty every single day. It's our calling to heed and one that we gladly perform to the best of our ability. These Americans felt a need to contribute in some way, any way, for the betterment of our country. Whether they served as a soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, or Coast Guardsman, they contributed. They wrote the blank check for an unnamed amount up to the cost of their lives. And sadly, many of them paid that full price. Today, however, is a day of celebration. It's a day to honor all past military members who've served our country, regardless of the war or conflict, or if they lived or died. Yes, today's a day to say thank you to veterans, whether they served in Europe, the Pacific, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, or any town around the world where they preserved peace. This day also gives us an opportunity to reflect, to consider what it means to be an American. It also affords us with a chance to think about our patriotism and our role in supporting our service members around the globe, both past and present. Working for the VA, I have found that our veterans don't ask for much. They really don't. I found that they aren't demanding, and they don't want to be treated like they're special, even though they undoubtedly are. They're just regular people who believe in something greater than themselves, and through their actions, they've emerged as extraordinary. That means something. That also means they're worthy of the thank you at the grocery store or the laundromat, or any time they check in for a clinic visit. They're also worth the admiration of people who stand on the principles that we all should aspire to: a love of country, a commitment to protecting our freedoms, and a willingness to serve if called. The benefits they receive are just a mere drop in the ocean compared to the financial and human cost of war. And while not all veterans see conflict, all who served in the military have expressed the willingness to do so if called upon. Today's event is a good example of how Western North Carolina pays tribute to its veterans, but it all doesn't take a ceremony. Sometimes just taking the time to sit down and talk with a veteran or their family members is all the tribute that's needed. And it's so easy. Pick up the phone, sit down at the computer and send an email. Connect in any way that you can, no matter how you choose to do it. It's the very least that we can do. Let's all be willing to lift them up when they're down, be there to support them when they need it, and help shoulder their burden when we see it getting to be too much to take. As Americans, we're obligated to do no less, and it should be an honor to do so. Our veterans deserve our lasting gratitude and respect. So on behalf of our executive leadership team and everyone at this healthcare system, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for attending this observance.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to acknowledge Judge Marvin Pope. Judge Pope, where are you? Judge Pope is the judge for the Veterans Treatment Court in Buncombe County. Ladies and gentlemen, with honor and respect, our keynote speaker today, Warren Dupree, a true friend of veterans in Western North Carolina. Warren.
CO. That is the Cherokee greeting for hello. Good morning. My fellow veterans, your family members, special guests, thank you for being here this morning. I want to thank each and every one of you, my fellow veterans, for your service to this great nation, for what you've done. You willingly accepted that honor to be in the armed forces of these United States. And I, as your fellow brother in arms, thank you for your service. I want to add that we here today, we need to look on Private First Class Charles George's bronze sculpture, his statue. He is a warrior. He was never able to attain the status of veteran because he gave his life to protect his two war buddies. He saved them so they could have theirs. We will never forget his memory. I want each and every one of you to know here today that his protecting warrior spirit is here with us. I can feel him. He is the guardian of this wonderful facility that our people, those that we have served, have given to us, the veterans, so that we may heal. He will always be here. And when you visit this facility, please pay your respects and thank him for his spiritual guidance and protection. He is the warrior. I want to share with each and every one of you a little bit of Cherokee. These words that I'm going to share with you were given by Isaac Welch, Jr., United States Army, Vietnam veteran. These are his words. I'm going to tell you a story. The story is that all creatures are created equal. And in the beginning, there was a destructive character, and for the lack of a better term, we will refer to him as Giant. Giant was creating chaos, vanity, and superego. And all the creatures call for a meeting. The elders call all the creatures together so they can talk. And in that meeting, it was determined that they were going to have to quash Giant, to suppress the state of chaos and restore peace and harmony, and that they would take volunteers to go forth and battle both chaos and Giant. Well, it ended up that the tribal elders said that we cannot promise you anything, because in order for you to restore order, peace, and harmony, you may have to kill. And it's wrong to kill. The only way that we can compensate you is to honor you, to remember your deeds. And so for you to go and make this ultimate sacrifice, because any time you come in association with another creature, you become a part of each other. And in that regard, you are killing yourself, which is wrong. And so the warrior is actually an individual who strives to maintain a balance. That balance is your physical your mental, and your spiritual. And once you lose that portion of balance when you go into the armed forces, you have to reestablish that when you come back. But then you begin to strive to reestablish your internal balance, but you begin to overcompensate in those areas that you are unbalanced. And it's not when you become the warrior, when you come home, that is when you begin to appreciate your purpose in life that our Creator has given to you. And after coming back, and anybody can go to battle. And you can come back and call yourselves a warrior, which is good because you are. But when you become a warrior, you become the ultimate advocate of peace. You're the one who has made the sacrifice to reestablish peace and harmony. And your role as a warrior begins at that point, because you then become a servant of your people. The object is to create a state of peace and harmony to where other individuals will not have to endure the terror, the fear. This wonderful facility allows each and every one of you, the veteran of these United States of America, it allows you to heal, to reestablish your balance. This is a Cherokee way. This is a Native American way. The Charles George Veterans Administration Medical Center helps you reestablish your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and it gives you the spiritual well-being that we all as warriors need to recover, to find our balance back in life. The Cherokee people have been here in this area for over 8,000 years. Their warriors protected their people. It was a badge of honor to become a warrior. You began to train at an early age. And your people that you protected, that you fought for, honored you in public ceremony. They never turned their back on their warriors. This country, this nation, this great nation, has shared the same with you. The Cherokee warriors and our people have overlapped over the years. The warrior ethos, the warrior spirit is in each and every one of you. Never forget that. When you come home and you go back into your communities, they, your people that you have serviced, that you have sacrificed for, they honor you. You, as a veteran, have become the warrior, the true warrior. And for those of you in our audience today who never served in the armed forces, You are very, very fortunate. Because these brave men and women that are sitting with us here today have endured unspeakable hardship, sacrifice, that it would be very difficult for you to ever understand. But we have given our lives so that you and your families would not have to endure the terror, the fear of the world as it is today and has been thousands of years ago. The Cherokee warriors, before the interaction with the Europeans, it was revenge warfare. A right to a wrong. It was swift, it was quick, and it was done. But warfare has changed. It's no longer face to face, hand to hand. It is long range, on target. But that does not diminish our warrior spirit at all. I want to share with everyone here something that I think will drive home to those of you in our audience, especially our children. This is for you and for our civilians. This was penned by Father Dennis Edward O'Brien, who was a chaplain with the United States Navy. And he served with the United States Marine Corps. He entitled it, Daddy, What is a Veteran? Some veterans bear visible signs of their service. A missing limb, a jagged scar, a certain look in the eye. Others may carry the evidence inside them. A pin holding a bone together, a piece of shrapnel in the leg, or perhaps another sort of inner steel. The soul's alloy, forged in the refinery of adversity. Except in parades, however, the men and women who have kept America safe wear no badge or emblem. And you can't tell a veteran just by looking. What is a veteran? He is that cop on the beat who spent 6 months in Saudi Arabia sweating 2 gallons a day making sure that the armored personnel carriers didn't run out of fuel. He is that barroom loudmouth, dumber than 5 wooden planks, whose overgrown frat boy behavior is outweighed 100 times in the cosmic scales by 4 hours of exquisite bravery near the 38th parallel, Korea. She is the nurse who fought against futility and went to sleeping sobbing every night for 2 solid years in Da Nang. He is that POW who went away one person and came back another, or did not come back at all. He is a Quantico drill instructor who has never seen combat, but has saved countless lives by turning slouchy, no-account rednecks and gang members into Marines and teaching them to watch each other's backs. He is that parade-riding legionnaire who pins on his medals and his ribbons with a prosthetic hand. He is that career quartermaster who watches the ribbons and the medals pass him by. He is any of the anonymous heroes in the tomb of the unknowns, whose presence at the Arlington National Cemetery must forever preserve the memory of all of the anonymous heroes whose valor dies unrecognized with them on the battlefield or in the ocean's sunless deep. He is that old guy bagging groceries at your local supermarket, palsied now and aggravatingly slow, who helped liberate a Nazi death camp, and who wishes every day that his wife were still alive to hold him when his nightmares come. He is an ordinary and yet an extraordinary human being, a person who offered some of his life's most vital years in the service of his country, and who sacrificed their ambitions so others would not have to sacrifice theirs. He is a soldier and a savior and a sword against the darkness. And he is nothing more than the finest, greatest testimony on behalf of the finest, greatest nation ever known. So remember, each time you see someone who has served our country, just lean over and say, thank you. That's all most people need. And in most cases, it will mean more than any medals or ribbons they have ever been awarded or could have been awarded. 2 little words. Thank you. It is a soldier, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It is a soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, that allows that protester to burn the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to know that the Cherokee people, your fellow brothers and sisters in arms, we deeply appreciate your service. We love you. We're all together in this life together. But we need a guardian. We need a warrior spirit to be with us. And look before you. Private First Class Charles George, United States Army Medal of Honor recipient, posthumously. His 2 buddies that he saved never wasted a day of their life. He gave them their purpose in life. As each and every one of you, our Creator has allowed to return to your home, to serve your people, to be a part of your community, and we as veterans will never turn our back, and we will never walk away from a fellow veteran or any of God's creatures who is in need. That is the Cherokee way. Always be brave, but always be humble. You're here to serve. God bless you all. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians and our veteran community, we give thanks to you, and we deeply appreciate your service to this great nation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Warren, for that inspiring speech. There will be 3 readings from the brothers and sisters like these veteran writing group. Carl Zipperer United States Army, Vietnam. Steve Henderson, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam. And Ted Minnick, United States Army, Vietnam. This group does public readings and conducts writing workshops helping veterans heal their wounds of war.
Welcome everyone that's here today. My name is Carl Zipperer. I served in the U.S. Army from 1969 to 1971. I spent a year and 2 months in training and a year in Vietnam, and then the Army said, "Oh, we don't need you anymore." They would have allowed me to stay in a little bit longer, but due to circumstances, I took the early out. I'm very happy to be here today, and I'm going to read what Veterans Day means to me, healing the wounds of war. World War I, significant hostilities were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, when the armistice with Germany went into effect. In 1954, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day. Veterans Day probably means something a little different for each individual. Someone asked me, what do I think about on Veterans Day? Well, that's easy. I think about taking advantage of all the freebies and discounts offered to vets on this day. Don't we all? And they are much appreciated. But I also think about the men I trained and served with in combat. I think about my friends, my combat brothers. I think of them and all the others who served and gave years of their lives to their country, many away from their wives, but especially my friends who gave all for their country, their names on a wall or on a memorial in a town or city. Oh yes, it is such a great pity that we have these terrible wars. Many thanks to the veterans who protect our shores. The men and women in uniform, all of whom who have sworn, those who answer the call to serve or maybe give all. As I look out at the mountain from my window, the mountains from my window which rise steeply across the valley, past times drift through my mind. Young, defiant brown men and women defend their country. Invaders kill, destroy, spoil. Life snuffed. Incoming rockets, bullets, mortars, smoke, fire in the hole, mangled bodies. In between death, there's so much beauty. People, clear blue ocean, long sandy beaches. Flashes of long ago barge into my mind. Hover, clear for takeoff, in the red. Everyday thoughts, memories, young men who forever and always will remain young to us. Never having peace. Thoughts surround me, create visions of the past, good and bad. One life lived, seeing my brother's eyes covered, weeping at the missing man table, with tilted chair empty, plate with a lemon slice and salt, a candle, a rose, a flag. No longer striving mentally to control the anger surging up within me, or having to apologize for launching into a rage, face red, gritting teeth. My daydreams no longer interrupted, scenes barging in from so many years ago. Only warm feelings of love, friendship, camaraderie fill my heart for the lost ones. Relieved of the burden of survival, standing beside those brave souls who did not. Echoes of voices from past, crackling radios, squelch, never play hell in my ears. Pictures of that dying young man, guts spilled on a mat on my cargo floor, leave me. Tears of past agony stop flowing from my eyes. No blood, bones, severed limbs remembered. So when will peace and compassion ever become our object? No more war by man. Hit the ground, stupid. Damn the holiday firecrackers, I must never again flinch. When there were feelings so low, sad, down, anxious, mad, grief, just plain tired, help came to make me finally see what was happening, how to grieve and have peace. Live life sans old pain, remorse, loud echoes, brutal sights, pull full collective pitch lever. Life is beginning over, brighter, happy, peace, more body pain now, much less mind pain. I would like to thank all the veterans here today, and thanks to all the people who work so hard to support veterans at Charles George VA Medical Center, many of whom are veterans. Then, together again. Thank you.
My name is Steve Henderson. I'm president of the North Carolina Veterans Riding Alliance Foundation and a proud member of Brothers and Sisters Like These. I serve with India Company 3-4 3rd Marine Division and I Corps up in the DMZ of Vietnam. Today I want to remember and share with you the story of my friend Floyd Eugene Parton. Gene and I attended Woodfin School here in Buncombe County and Irwin High School together. Early in life, you knew that Gene had your back. We played together as boys, riding our bicycles all over the Irwin district to meet up with other friends to hang out for the day. We would ride the Elk Mountain bus to downtown Asheville, going to the movies at the Imperial and Plaza Theater. We would then walk home down Broadway to Riverside Drive as the bus had stopped running. If we had any trouble, Gene was right there to make a plan or to make it right. In high school, we played on the Irwin High football team together, pushing forward each Friday night with a determination to win. Even when he was injured, he would never quit or not play. He gave 100%. He was tough as nails. Even in high school, Gene Parton knew in order to get respect, one must give respect. As a student and an athlete, he recognized the proper way to treat people and to help others. Some of you may remember the Tunnel Road of the late 60s, Bucks, Babes, Winks, and the Dreamland Drive-In, Shoney's. Gene was the center of attention in a positive way. On Patton Avenue, Irwin students hung out at Burger Chef, and Inca students were at Surfside. We often met up together at Eddie Joyner's speed shop. On several occasions, Gene and I double dated, and we all had great fun. Once Gene drove his lovesick friend all the way to California to see his girlfriend. It was just the kind of guy Gene was. After high school, Gene joined the United States Marine Corps. This was a big deal for Gene, as it was something he was doing for the first time on his own. As I recall, Gene was the honor man of his platoon. This was his first of many awards to soon be earned. He completed boot camp at Paris Island, South Carolina, and then completed advanced infantry training at Camp Geiger. Gene came home on a 30-day leave before completing survival training in California and on to the war in Vietnam. While he was home on leave, he spent a lot of time with his friends. We gave him a going-away party. The last time I saw Gene, we were sitting in my 68 Camaro SS350 listening to the House of the Rising Suns by the Animals. He shared with me stories about his training and his thoughts about going to war and serving with his fellow Marines. He always thought about others. I knew he would be missed, but not knowing that I would never see him again. While in Vietnam, Gene was a selfless warrior. His actions and awards were that of a hero. Less than a year later, his body returned to Asheville, a flag draped over his casket. The hurt of his family was so raw. The loss of Gene was felt by the entire community. Never an ordinary guy, Gene represented the guts and glory of a true hero, one who affected our lives in a never-ending way. Bobby Horton went through boot camp and to war with Gene. He said, he told my wife that he would take care of me and get me back home to her. But at that time, I thought we would both make it home. Gene was the brother I never had, and I think of him often. I named my first son after him and my dad. It has been 35 years, but sometimes it only seems like yesterday we're talking, laughing, and looking to the future. He will never be forgotten. The Silver Star was awarded for action during Vietnam to Gene Parton. The President of the United States of America takes pride in presenting the Silver Star posthumously to Lance Corporal Floyd Eugene Parton, United States Marine Corps, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in the action while serving as a fire team leader with Company B, 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, 3rd Marine Division. In connection with combat operations against the enemy in the Republic of Vietnam. During the early morning hours of 8 October 1968, while his platoon was occupying a night defensive position near Quai Son, Lance Corporal Parton was on the perimeter security watch when he detected the movement to his immediate front. Observing an estimated squad of North Vietnamese soldiers, he was attempting to warn his team when the enemy delivered heavy fire. With complete disregard for his own safety, Lance Corporal Parton immediately threw numerous hand grenades at the enemy soldiers and delivered accurate suppressive fire at them in a fearless attempt to halt the assault. As he moved about the fire-swept area, shouting words of encouragement to his men and directing their fire, Lance Corporal Parton was severely wounded. Undoubted by his serious injury, he valiantly continued to fire against the enemy and to encourage his men until he succumbed to his wounds. His aggressive fighting spirit and determination inspired all who observed him and were instrumental in the defeat of the hostile force. By his courage, bold initiative, and unwavering devotion to duty, Lance Corporal Parton upheld the highest tradition of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Services. He gallantly gave his life for his country. May we never forget those who have died while serving our country. The end.
Good morning. I am honored to have served, and I am blessed to be here today. My name is Ted Minnick. I served in the U.S. Army from 1966 to 2006. And you immediately say, man, what were you thinking? I'm a slow learner. There's not but a few moments that I would give for my service. I would exchange. But I am blessed to be here today. I served in the Army as a field artillery battery commander in Vietnam, 1969-1970, with the 6th Battalion, 32nd Field Artillery Regiment, 8-inch 175 guns near the Cambodian border. I belong to the writing group, Brothers and Sisters Like These, and I am blessed to be a part of that group. They have done wonders for me. My piece this morning is entitled, What I Brought Back. I've been back from Vietnam for over 53 years, but sometimes it seems like just yesterday or last night. Even though I was a commander of a heavy artillery battery and should be used to loud noises, I still jump at unexpected bangs or loud sounds. When I enter a room, I still look for exits or bunkers. I still sit facing the entrance. My wife will sit with her back to the door just so I can sit facing the door. I don't do crowds or fireworks or screaming kids. My wife knows my triggers. I wear hearing aids today because of the artillery, and we jokingly refer to my hearing loss as spousal deafness, whereas I like to call it selective hearing. But I can still hear a helicopter tell you what kind it is over a mile away. I brought back an appreciation for brotherhood. My unit members, battle buddies, were my family for a year, and I stay in touch with a few of them. We're getting smaller in number every year. Today I sometimes can't remember what I had for lunch or why I entered a room, but I can tell you the quadrant elevation and a deflection for certain targets in my area of operations, the serial number of my M14, my M16, the names of my drill sergeants in basic training. It's strange what we recall. As someone once said, my mind can't forget what my eyes have seen. I brought back a deeper appreciation for spouse and family. I had an idea of what spouse and family go through when someone deploys. I saw it firsthand when my dad would deploy as a 30-year Air Force pilot, and how my mom had to step up and do all the things that Dad would do if he were home. I was trained to know war, how to survive its inherent dangers, and how to lead men in battle. I married my high school sweetheart from South Georgia, who had no experience with military things and who was suddenly thrust into a life completely different from what she was used to and a whole different world. When I went to Vietnam, I left a wife and a 3-month-old daughter. I knew the difference between incoming and outgoing, the ping of a grenade spoon. I became ultra aware of my strange sound, any strange sounds. In other words, to be hyper vigilant to things that happen during battle. Imagine spending your days and nights dreading the sound of a car door slamming or the telephone ringing in the middle of the night or the sight of uniformed military personnel approaching your door. Imagine doing that for 365 days and nights. My wife and daughters and other military families like them are my heroes. I also brought back a sneaky, hidden disease called Agent Orange chronic lymphocytic leukemia, thanks to Dow Chemicals, Dioxin, and Uncle Sam. I was diagnosed in 2008, 38 years after returning from Vietnam, and thank the good Lord, my disease remains at stage 0. As my oncologist calls it, watchful waiting. We've had a few scares over the last year, but I'm stable, I'm doing good, and I thank the Lord every day for that. As someone once said, quote, "Not all who lost their lives in Vietnam died there, and not all who came home from Vietnam ever left there." Our youngest daughter, Sarah, who was born in 1971 after I returned, was diagnosed in 1997 with multiple sclerosis. Sarah passed away in 2016 at the age of 44 from complications of MS. I don't hold a grudge against the government for my disease, but I feel guilty that my daughter's disease may have been caused by my exposure to Agent Orange. The VA says there is no connection. As they say, we came home and death came with us. Lastly, I brought back a deep gratitude to the men and women of our armed services and all their sacrifices, then and now. I will always stand and salute the flag. I will always thank God for those who are willing to stand on the wall and guard our country and what it stands for. Welcome home, brothers and sisters. Hooah!
I want to apologize for the bell tower regarding Ted's piece. As you see, there's very moving stories that are written by veterans who serve our country. For those of you who are interested in joining us, Steve and I have some handouts regarding the brothers and sisters like these. We appreciate you coming today. We appreciate the weather holding. And we want you to have a safe and pleasant Veterans Day. And we hope to see you again in person next year. at Veterans Day. Stay well, be safe, and welcome home. Thank you.